Are we Ronies? We are. What's up, guys? It's McKinley Crain here. Today I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free review of Marvel's What If Season 1, Episode 8. Now, let's get into it. So in this episode, a question is asked and posed, which is, what if Ultron had actually won the battle against the Avengers? This story takes place in an alternate universe in the MCU, where Ultron had actually won, and it has a much greater effect on the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe than you might think it would. This episode actually mostly focuses on, besides Ultron, the Watcher, which I think is just a creative change of pace, not change of pace, but change of style and perspective for this show. And this is the second best episode in my opinion. I like the Doctor Strange one a little bit better than I like this one. They're both perfect episodes, but the Doctor Strange one was a little bit more perfect, if that makes sense. This episode was bonkers. It's the most bonkers, and just bizarre and amazingly creative and uniquely creative episode of Marvel's What If yet. And there are a lot of fun Easter eggs in this episode, and just inside jokes, and just references for MCU fans in this episode that are just great, and which I got. And this episode is, like I said, very creative. Like, this episode, they jam a lot more into 28 minutes than you would expect them to be able to, if that makes sense. And that's not a bad thing at all. The pacing's great. Pacing's perfect. I had no issues with the pacing. This episode was just awesome. I actually liked Ultron in this episode like the alternate universe version of Ultron in this episode better than I liked the main universe version of Ultron. I mean, I thought he was a great villain, but I just liked this dude, this version of Ultron, better. I just thought he was more of what he was supposed to be, if that makes sense. And this episode is just actually surprisingly very quotable at times, and I guarantee you that a certain line in this episode will be quoted in the future and will be used as a meme template by someone in the future. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that the dialogue is hilariously bad or bad at all. I'm just saying it's very just iconic and memorable and just quotable, which is awesome. And I just love how this episode just, breaks all the boundaries. Well, not all the boundaries, but almost all the boundaries. And I'm not talking about censorship here at all. This episode doesn't try to, go against the censors, like what the censors will allow to be in this episode. No, I'm just talking, when I say boundaries, I mean like what can actually be explored in this series. Quite literally. I'm not talking about, like, exploring someone's past or, like, personality or whatever the heck, like, all that, like, you know, like, in-depth person category stuff, whatever you call it. I mean, like, what it can actually do, like, what they can actually have the characters do, how they can actually have the characters interfere with with each other. That's what I meant. Like, it just pushes those boundaries. And once again, I'm not talking about censorship or anything related to it. When I say pushes the boundaries, I mean, like, pushes the boundaries of what the MCU can be and has been so far. You'll see what I'm talking about when you actually watch the episode. Anyway, and it's just so creatively triumphant and just awesome and is very entertaining, and the animation is just very dope. And I loved, like, a lot of, like, the colors they used for the animation in this episode. They were very fun to look at, and there are a lot of, and they're used very creatively, and they make the action scenes in this episode even more entertaining to watch. And another thing about this episode I'd like to talk about is the fact that it has a lot of twists and turns that will surprise you and make you smile. And just surprise you. Like, oh, I didn't know that could happen, or oh, I didn't know that would happen, or oh, I didn't even know that was even possible, or oh, I wasn't expecting that. And it just all makes for a very thrilling experience, a very thrilling episode. And I'm going to give this episode a 100% out of 100%, which is the equivalent of an A+. Like, subscribe, join the notification squad. I will return.